Hey everyone, I'm 2D Groove. Today I've got a redstone tutorial. So I'm going to be doing a few redstone tutorials every couple of days. So today we're going to start out with um, hold on a sec. Alright, so today we'll start out with a few redstone basics. Now, a lot of people want to know how to use redstone, but they think it's going to be too confusing, and honestly, redstone can be pretty confusing at first. But once you get to know the basics, it's not too hard. So first we'll start off with all the different sources of power. You've got redstone torches, blocks, levers, buttons, pressure plates, weighted pressure plates, and these will provide power. As you can see, I've actually grouped them up according to the kind of power that they'll provide. Buttons would actually be in its own group. So blocks of redstone and torches will just give off a signal to any surrounding redstone dust or items that will use a redstone signal. Levers will give off a redstone signal only if they're turned on. Sources of power will give off a redstone signal that will only carry for 15 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and that's as far as it'll go. And all of these power sources will carry for that much, except for the weighted pressure plate, which we'll talk about in a second. Regular pressure plates will give off a red no signal when a player is stepping on them, or any entity for that matter, except for an item. With a weighted pressure plate, it will detect if a player is stepping on them, but it only gives off one it'll only give off a signal for one block, as you can see here, but it does work if I throw an item on it. Now with a heavy weighted pressure plate, it'll do the same thing. If a player steps on it as well as the items, it will detect even farther. The more items you put on it, the more power it'll actually give off. So as you can see, now that I've put more items on it, it has 2 bars of signal now. Let's see how high I can. Now it's all 4. Buttons will give off a signal for a couple ticks after you press them, and then they'll go back. So those are the power sources. Well, those are the main power sources. There's also tripwire. So if I grab some string here, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually place string on the ground. As you can see, if you place 2 tripwire hooks, you need a block to place them on. But if you place 2 tripwire hooks, and string in between them, the tripwire will become live. So if you step on it, the tripwire hooks will be triggered. I actually place string up here. It's quite hard to see. So now, if the tripwire hooks are triggered, they'll power the block behind it. Blocks can have weak power or strong power. So the tripwire hooks will give the block strong power. Redstone dust gives a block weak power, meaning that it cannot carry a signal any further. But if you use a repeater, which also extends a signal, it will give the block strong power. So as you can see here, the signal will actually go through the block. Tripwire hooks are useful for traps. They can be triggered by any mob, not just players. So now that we've talked about repeaters, which not only extend a signal for another 15 blocks, they can have a delay time. So if you right click a repeater, the knob will move, and if you put it all the way up, or even just further than one, the delay will be set even higher than it usually is. There it's kind of hard to see because it's so small, but if it's all the way up, it's quite noticeable. So these are the few sources of power that you have. Repeaters carry signal. They can power blocks. Blocks can have weak power or strong power. If you power a block and there's a torch on it, the torch will be turned off, which is also very useful. I think that's all for today. Come back next time for the next redstone tutorial. See you guys next time. 2D Groove signing out.